exploring Madeline Soto's tragic case and the ongoing quest for justice. Is justice delayed or denied for Maddie Soto's mom, Jennifer Soto?
That's escaped any of the charges thus far. Again, just because we say hashtag arrest Jen Soto 7 different ways doesn't mean we're going to be able to get her arrested. We're just putting a little bit of energy into a case that doesn't feel like it got the proper arrest or the proper attention. Does anyone know why they were fired? Yeah, most of them were fired for racketeering and gambling. All right, let's keep going. I covered that. I covered those cases as well. So go back to my playlist. You'll find it.
Remember, a lot of the case is circumstantial.
The evidence in this case is very strong.
Hey, Muffin.
But having a good case and having a successful prosecution are two different things.
Nope.
And so prosecutors have to really assemble all this evidence in a way that they can present to.
Now, remember, they found 100 photos from one day of Stefan filming the roommate under the door. Now, the roommates didn't badmouth Jen Soto at all ever, because number one, one of the roommates was Stephanie Soto's best friend, a Soto family member. And then the other one, Angelica, didn't speak English and didn't want to get involved. All right. So nobody said anything. They did tell us a little bit about hearing some things that night, hearing a little bit of clanks or seeing some power tools, possibly tools on the table. But that was it. That's all we got from them the entire time.
A judge and or jury to convince them.
In the beginning, you had evidence of abuse. He was driving around with her dead and then dumped her in a field in the middle of nowhere. So you think you've heard it all. It cannot get any worse. And then
it does.
So I was not in my right mind after I found her.
All I know, Stephen, is when I look at a picture of you and I look into your eyes, I don't see a monster there. I don't see a bad person there. I see my son, who I love.
Were you expecting these charges?
No.
The murder charge. Oh, so you got blindsided by that.
He said
yeah.
No.
Obviously, it's not true. I never would have wanted her gone for any reason. So, premeditated first degree is kind of a part.
And that's why I believe that he absolutely took that the 21 life sentences and the reason they gave it was because there really was no way to get to that first degree premeditated ever. And I got to say, if I were on a jury, guys, if I were a 12th person on a jury, I can honestly, in my heart of hearts, I couldn't convict Stefan on first degree premeditated because I do not think that he did that on purpose. I absolutely think it was accidental. I think it got too rough, obviously, because of what happened, but I don't think it was like I'm going to come down to Florida and I'm going to take Maddie's life or even anything close to that. So that's why they did what they did. It would be really hard to get 12 jurors to agree that it was a premeditated murder, especially with the kind of things that were going on between him and Maddie and she loves me and I love her, the whole thing. I couldn't, as much as I'd want to, I'm lying to myself if I can say that I did, or I thought that. I don't think it was on purpose, but it happened and it's horrible. And the way Maddie died is horrible. I do wish that that any of us would have access to the toxicology and to the autopsy, but we're never going to get it. We're going to have to see it through the eyes of whoever tells us about it, which Stefan has, but I don't fully believe what he says either. And of course, he wants to make it, benefit what he's not going to go in and say, I did this and this. So yeah, it's hard to believe. And I wish I could see it for myself.
It almost sounds like you didn't know something had happened to her.
Well, I discovered her in the state that she was in, but no, I was not aware that she had passed on. I didn't discover what had happened until just around time.
Okay. Interesting.
Because I discovered that she was ice cold.
He tells the story to his parents on these jail calls, and all of a sudden was like, oh, I found her. What? Oh, so now you found her body. You didn't call 911? You didn't scream for help? None of that? Then he says, oh, we were upstairs in the bedroom. When you see the pictures, that door has a lock on it. It's
Several locks.
like a house of horrors.
So Stearns.
Several locks. Remember, Jen Soto sent Maddie up to bed with Stefan with the locks, with the giant bottle of Slow-Lo, with the 9mm that she pointed up to law enforcement was there, and all the unidentifying furniture and things that they had in the room. That was set up, in my opinion, for filming and creating CSAM. I don't see it any other way. What would you need a lock? Multiple locks. Now, there's a lock here to make sure you don't get in. If you get in here, we don't even see the handle down here. I'm sure there's a lock down here on the handle, one here, and then there's a third one, maybe even a fourth. What do you need that for? And why would you let some grown man take your daughter in the bedroom with locks on the door like that? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Has a lot on his plate. He's got 2 separate trials on the horizon, dozens of serious charges that he's facing. And he's got to say to himself, is there any chance I could beat this at trial? Or should I just put an end to all of this right now?
What was surprising is,
well, let me tell you, though, I would never let my daughter go up into a room with those locks on the door. And I got to tell you, there had to have been many times that those locks were used, whether it was rented out or not, because of all the CSAM that was produced. So it had to have been locked. You don't want someone to walk in when you're doing that. Sabrina, the middle-aged witch. I love your name. Thank you so much for the Guilty of Crime membership. If you received a membership from Sabrina, please thank her.
he was a little bit defiant in the beginning, like, I don't know what happened to her, that I thought he may take this all the way to trial, but you could tell that reality was starting to sink in. He wasn't getting out of this.
Court has received 2 plea forms. Concerns, how do you plea to first-degree premeditated murder?
No contest.
And as to counts 1 through 8, capital sexual battery of Madeline Soto, counts 9 through 13.
There's Yolanda, guys, right there. There's Yolanda Zambrano. That's Madeline's grandma, the one that says Maddie called her mom. And then you've got the family all here. Stephanie wasn't there. Stephanie called in to make a statement, and she was on speakerphone. All right. And that's a good question, Krista. Deb, do you know, were there other locks on the other doors? Because all the rooms were rented out, right? I bet they would change the screamer in the room a lot too. Interesting. Not 3 of them. Right, exactly. Who needs 3 locks? And would you be okay with your daughter being behind those locks? Tina, you do need to become a member, girl. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. All right, guys, don't forget to hit that like button.
Sexual battery, counts 14 through 20, lewd or lascivious molestation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Yep.
There was direct evidence that Stefan Stearns killed Madeline. The fact that he had all the motive in the world here, this was a very strong case for the prosecution. I think they would have gotten the death penalty if they pursued it, but decided to cut a plea deal instead.
He knew that evidence on his phone, that was it.
I agree that it's not fair that Madeline is not here anymore. I still have a hard time contemplating a world where she's not around. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well. And she truly was a joy. And I apologize for all the pain.
But in this statement, he only seems to be sad for himself. He still doesn't really explain what happened to Madeline or why he did what he did.
Just look at the language and just lay it out, and he doesn't really apologize until the end. What he didn't do is to really take ownership. All he's doing is giving lip service. He is telling the judge and everybody else what he's expected to say.
That is not what I would expect him to say, to be honest with you. So I don't know about that. I think that was infuriating what he said. And I feel like that's the sentiment that all of you had when sentencing went down. I was really thrown off by that part. And that was part of the plea deal. There you go. There's a little inside information, but that, Okay, let's keep going. Again, we're documenting the entire Madeline Soto story from the beginning of her missing until the 21 life sentences, which we've never done on here before because we've just taken this case bit by bit. We didn't have a resolution. We still don't. Jen Soto's not locked up for anything. She's out there free while her mom and her family are in court representing Maddie. She's doing who knows what, probably getting high. Freaking potato.
In the victim impact statements, we get to hear from Madeline Soto's relatives, the loved ones who had no idea, no reason to believe that Madeline was in any kind of danger under her own mother's roof.
I just miss you and your presence. But that unfortunately was taken from us.
Her aunt.
I have so much hatred in my heart, specifically for the creature that's sitting in this room today. I would give up my life if it meant having you here with us.
Madeline Soto was my daughter. She was happiness. She was a joy to be around. Because of the actions of this depraved man,
she looks so much like Tyler. And again, I'm going to document it this way, no matter what anybody says. In my opinion, Tyler is also a victim. Do I wish that he would have had more money to get her and see her? Yes. Do I think that he could have done better and seen her more often? Yes. Do I believe that parental alienation is real and that Jen Soto purposely did that to make sure that he wouldn't be all the wiser to what was going on in that house? Yes. When he tried to get her the time before Maddie lost her, or Maddie's life was taken from her, he wanted her to come, and Jen Soto had every excuse not to send Maddie there. As a matter of fact, one of the excuses she had was the same excuse that happened to her roommate about being filmed under the door by Stefan, except she tried to put it off on, well, I don't want Maddie going to visit you because what if she's on a plane and she has to use the bathroom and someone takes a picture under the door? Who would say that? What would, I mean, where, she didn't know? Where would you get that from? Just, disgusting. All right.
will never meet the woman she was becoming. And I can only hope that he lives a long time in prison and has those same horrors revisited upon him by his fellow inmates.
This monster took advantage of her trust and her innocence. This parasite robbed us of every moment we could have had with Maddie. And our lives will never be the same.